Hi, good afternoon. It's Jerry and it's What the Health Wednesday. Okay, so one of the very first things that I immediately put back in place from days gone by when I got out of the hospital from my little blood pressure situation was smoothies. And the reason why I really did that is because to me, I look at smoothies like they're medicine. It's a way to make sure that I'm getting a boatload of good vitamins and good food and good stuff into my body all at one time. And the way I looked at it is if I at least got this going in the morning, then I would have a lot of things working in my favor for the day. And I also looked at it as a big part of getting my body on track with healing. So today I'm going to chat with you about my simple way of making smoothies, and I'm going to go through that with you. I'm going to talk with you about the most affordable way that I've found to make smoothies, and then I'm also going to talk to you about the best thing about smoothies and a little bonus kind of information about a Vitamix. All right, so the base of, and I forgot my dang old bananas. So the first thing I'd say is that you do not have to have a Vitamix. It's something that I really contemplated a lot as a purchase. I'm really pleased with. I'll chat with you more about it in the end. But let's just say whatever blender contraption you've got, the base, the very first thing that I put into there is a liquid. And the liquid that I've always used and that I always will use is just filtered water. So I'm going to put 2 cups of filtered water into my blender. And then the next thing that I put in, and I used to use as many as 3 bananas, but these days I just really use 2. And that's because for some reason when I get to making smoothies, everybody in the whole world wants to eat bananas. So I usually end up with just a good ration of 2 bananas a day. So once I get my bananas going in there, I get my greens going. And this is some kale that I've already washed off. And if you don't know about how to use kale raw, that's all you do is just rip it off of there. I'm actually going to let this pile up so you can see how much it's going to look like once we get done. And a lot of people can't stomach the idea of eating kale, and so this is a great way to get extra leafy greens. And I was thinking as I was washing this kale that I could even do this with collard greens, like when I'm at the end of collard green season and I don't necessarily have enough to make a big pot, I can always put some in a smoothie. So this is really like, if I got it all in my hand, it's one full big balled handful of kale, and I'm going to put that in next. So I'd say that's maybe 2 cups. It was a big handful. Now the next thing I'm going to go in with is a mixture of fruits. So right here I've got just some frozen grapes. There's about 4 of those. These are some blackberries. There's about 6 of those, and the number of these doesn't matter. I just know that I'm going for what all total is about a cup. And so that was raspberries, and this is pear, and I'm just gonna get a good handful of that. And then here at the end is where I go in with my extra. So the one thing that I'm out of that I really love to put in here lately is fresh ginger. So I usually get like a big, what I call like a thumb of ginger, and I just use a peeler like for potatoes, and I peel off that outer skin, and then I just peel slivers and slices of ginger into a bowl, and then I keep it in the refrigerator. And then every day I put, you know, like that much ginger, quite a bit. You know, it probably would equal out to chopped about a tablespoon of ginger. So I'm out of ginger, but another thing that I put in every morning is cayenne pepper, and I usually just sit there and shake it, but today I'm gonna Just measure it out, and that's a half a teaspoon, which looks about like what I put in there. And then I'm gonna throw some turmeric in here. And this is, again, a half a teaspoon. And I'm gonna throw 2 cloves of garlic in, and that's gonna be my recipe for today. Okay, so there we go. Now this much, this amount of ingredients makes about, I'd say about 40 ounces, because this glass is like 32 ounces, and I'm gonna fill it up to right here. That's where it's filled up to. And then this glass is gonna fill up almost halfway full. So I think that's about another 8 ounces of smoothie that we've got there. It's really good, and it's really spicy. Okay, so that's how I make a simple smoothie, and you can throw in as many things as you want and keep out as many things as you like. I'm actually making this right now as some medicine for my husband. He has been feeling super under the weather, and so this blend is going to fire him up, and it's really going to open up his sinuses, open up his breathing passages, and it's going to put a lot of good, what we call medicine, because we look at medicine as food. Food is our medicine. So we believe that putting whole foods in our body is the best way that we can give our body good medicine and good healing. Okay, so the next thing I want to chat with you about is what I found is the most affordable way to make smoothies, to get the ingredients. Because when I first started making smoothies back in 2015, the year that my husband and I met, I used to get a big tub, you know, it was about this tall and about that big, of kale or super greens, and then I would get a, you know, giant bag of frozen fruit, and both of those together were probably $8 to $10 each. And then I buy tons of bananas at about 50-60 cents a pound. So I'd probably end up spending, you know, $6 in bananas. So it ended up being, you know, what seemed to me a kind of a pricey endeavor. Well, this time around, I've discovered a much smarter way to go about doing that. And that's to buy produce and buy kale and dark leafy greens that are on sale and freeze them and process them on my own. And this has saved me so much money. In the last 2 weeks of doing that, this week I got 2 bunches of fresh organic kale for 77 cents each a bunch. And all of the fruits here, I got these pears for 77 cents a pound. So I got like 4 or 5 of those and cut them up. I also had 2 for $1 mangoes that I got this week. I've already used up the mangoes. The blackberries, I've got blueberries. All of those were collectively 67 to 88 cents a piece. So what I found is by getting these ingredients and cutting them up before their perishing time, getting them in the freezer, each day I can take a little bit of each of them, and over the course of the week I've cut my fruit down to $4 or less in fruit, and I get a lot of variety of fruits that are actually in season, not just fruits that I'm buying frozen that aren't necessarily in season at the time. So I think it saves so much to buy fresh what you can in the stores that you can get good deals on. Obviously being here in Arizona, closer to the border and closer to California, we do probably get some better prices on produce, and we can produce quite a bit of our own produce here in Arizona. as far as fruits go. But still, look for the best deals that you can find even around this time of the year, whether it's apples or pears and some type of berries that you can get a hold of. And then that way you can reduce your cost when it comes to creating these awesome smoothies. And then, like I said, you can add in anything that you want to. And that brings me to what my third thing that I want to share with you, which is what I think is the best thing about smoothies. And the best thing about smoothies to me is if you've got something that you don't like to take or eat or consume, or that your children don't like to eat or take or consume, that is good for them, that they should, the best way to get that into them or into your body is in the form of a smoothie, because you can pack so many different things into this smoothie and it not taste anything like what that ingredient is. For example, over time, I've put apple cider vinegar in smoothies because I wanted my children to have some dosages of apple cider vinegar, but they weren't keen on taking it directly anymore. I've also done that with cayenne pepper. Now with the children, I'm not going to put half of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, because you can actually put just enough cayenne pepper in there to get the effect from all those awesome benefits, with just putting a little in there that they're gonna not notice. The same with garlic. If you've got a child that doesn't like dark leafy greens but can really use all those extra vitamins from those types of vegetables, a smoothie is a great place to do it. And depending on the fruits that you get, you can make some pretty fun colors out of your smoothies that really disguise the overall effect of getting this powerful pack of veggies and fruits into whoever's taking it. And like I said, you can get some turmeric in there, you can get some different spices, some different herbs in there. So anything that you don't like to take in its natural form, tug it into a smoothie. You'll hardly taste it if you taste it at all, and it's a great way to consume it. Now the last thing I want to talk about is my Vitamix. And I hope by now you've come to understand that I like to save money. So making a purchase like this with a Vitamix is something that I really have to be thoughtful about, because it's hard for me to rationalize to myself to spend that kind of money on a piece of kitchen equipment. And because of that, I did not buy this Vitamix new. I bought it used. And so I think new, they're anywhere from $200 to $400, which is insane. And I think I got this for about $100. And when I did buy it for $100, I felt like I was insane. But I was really excited about getting really smooth blended smoothies. So you can get your regular, I think it's like Oster, that makes, you know, just your $20 to $30 blender. You can get something like that, but you're always going to have thicker parts of the greens. And you can see from this container that there's no hunks or chunks of leafy greens or anything that I blended up in there. And so that's one huge benefit. But I've also been able to make a lot of dressings, mix up a lot of soups, make different types of, what's that you make with basil? Pesto. So there's a lot of different things that you could blend up, and I think that if you made an investment in even a good used blender like a Vitamix, and it could be a major innovation for your kitchen. That way you could maybe avoid having a food processor, because you can do a lot of your mixing in here and do a little bit more chopping by hand instead of a food processor. So I definitely think that the Vitamix is worth it, especially if you can get it used. And I made this purchase in 2015. So for me, it's going on being about 3 to 4 years old. And I think the woman had it and used it for a year or two before that. So if it ever should pass on me, I'll be looking to get another one, and hopefully I can find a deal on a good used one. So I hope you enjoyed my little 3 things that I wanted to share with you about smoothies, my simple way of making them, an affordable way to incorporate them into your lifestyle. And the best thing about them is all the different things that you could sneak into them that your body or your children or your family's body could use and probably needs, but don't like the direct flavor of. And lastly, my review on the Vitamix and whether it's a worthy purchase. So thanks so much for joining me for Healthy Wednesday and my What the Health tip of the week. And I hope you have the best day ever.